have been caring for my sister-in-law for the last 7 months since her multiple surgeries in January and February left her unable to live alone and care for herself. During these months, Bruce and I have learned and experienced a lot more about caregiving. We had taken care of my mother in her 80s and 90s during short visits, so we had some prior knowledge and supplies for this area. However, given that Jan now lives with us, I've had more time to evaluate the changes, challenges, and insights about what is involved in being a caregiver. There's still more to learn, but here are some of the lessons and insights we have gained. Caregiving is love in action. There are reasons a person might become a caregiver in their home. The obvious is that someone in your household becomes ill and needs help to recover. In our case, Jan was not a member of our household, but as Bruce's beloved eldest sister, a member of our extended family. It is important that we take care of family when we are able to. The Bible speaks of taking care of widows and orphans, so we take care of those we love and those in our family in need. Many of us have or will take care of an elderly parent or relative. It is the cycle of care. Our parents raised us with love and sacrifices to give us the best start possible in life. We should return the gift as they decline in years. Being part of a family means you are connected by blood and lifelong shared experiences. Your family members know you more closely than others. They know your flaws and failures. They've seen and helped you grow and mature. Family is part of God's design of support and love for mankind. And from our families, we learn how to receive and how to give care. A mother with her baby is the prime example of a caregiver. She demonstrates love in action every day. A mother sacrifices her body and own desires from the minute she knows she is carrying a new life within. It's a privilege and high calling to bring forth a baby. You realize you're the recipient of a miracle when you think about how life forms in the womb. Knowledge gained in school and current views in society have caused us to think of conception as just biology or as an inconvenience to our independent life. We've lost the awe and wonderment of pregnancy and just how special it is. Motherhood is not as highly honored as in earlier generations, and partly because women have been told it's not enough. If you want to achieve a high level of success, you need to be successful independently of any man or child. Just being a wife and mother is seen as accepting yesteryear's standard. Today's woman can do anything she wants and all by herself. She doesn't need anyone or anything to define her. While this perspective may have some limited truth, it devalues the high calling of being a wife and mother and her role as a life and caregiver. This is what wives and mothers do. They care for their families. They make tremendous sacrifices of their careers, bodies, free time, dreams, and even opinions. How many times have your mothers given you the last or best piece of dessert or food instead of taking it for themselves? How often have your mothers stayed up late, making you something you needed, or taken you shopping for something special? What special foods or practices did she have for you when you were sick? Thrown birthday parties, planned family vacations, helped with homework, driven you to and from practices, cheered you on in your games, and helped you find whatever you lost. The list could go on and on. Mothers give and give of themselves for their families because of the great love in their hearts for them. We care for others because of our love for them. We also care for people because we are called to the task. Caregiving is a calling given by God. He can place compassion, kindness, or a sense of duty in our hearts. He can place someone right in our path and move our lives towards caring for someone. He can shine a spotlight on someone's needs that only we can see. We answer his calling. We may care for an aging parent, relative, or child. Perhaps we work as a professional caregiver, such as a nurse or a therapist in the medical or rehabilitation fields. We dedicate our lives to caring for others. Being a caregiver is a noble profession, taken on by generous, selfless, dedicated and oftentimes very compassionate people, individuals that have been designed or shaped specifically to fulfill God's purposes in helping the needy. How do we handle this enormous responsibility? Ask God for patience, strength, joy, and perseverance. God is the source of your strength and joy. The Bible tells us to pray when we are sick, lost, or anxious, when we are fighting battles, feeling alone or brokenhearted. God is always ready and willing to provide for us, to protect us, to help us overcome any obstacle and be victorious. Relying on our own strength will surely bring us to exhaustion. With God's help, we can have wisdom to know when to ask for outside assistance and the humility to accept the help. With God's help, we can get through another long day and night and sleep peacefully. With God's help, we can see the blessings beyond the burdens. Our joy comes from the Lord when He gives us a message of hope even in times of sadness, a word of encouragement when we're ready to give up, a song of praise instead of complaints and criticism. I remember how God would help us through tough times on long road trips. When we lived in Portland, Oregon, we would drive back and forth to the Bay Area to visit family. It's about an 11 or 12-hour drive with a couple of rest stops included. Have you ever taken a long road trip, been in the car for hours with your family or by yourself? How do you pass the time, mile after mile, until you reach your destination? Grumbling and constantly checking the distance until the next stop probably just made the trip even longer and more difficult. A car full of cranky or bored kids on a road trip is enough to decide to fly the next time or just stay home. On our trips to Portland, we would often bring along some cassette tapes to listen to on the drive. One of our favorites was Salty, the singing songbook. We would hear how Salty always had a song of praise or encouragement for his little friends when they got into trouble or were lost. Besides learning and singing fun songs together as a family, we learn through songs and verses that God is faithful and valuable in every situation. Life is like a long car ride. We're carried along to destinations, and sometimes we get bored, tired, or impatient. How do we handle the journey? Let God be our guide and constant companion, who makes our experience fun and fulfilling. God can use our caregiving journey to do the same. We can grow, learn, be strengthened, and make meaningful memories with others. We also need to have a big picture view. A caregiver needs a big picture view to look at long-term goals and overall benefits. Caregiving is not a quick task or project. It may not get done in a week or a month, but can last for a long period or maybe even years. The body and mind may recuperate slowly, or more frailties may arise. You can do your best and see only minimal results or even setbacks. The daily routine can put you into a Groundhog's Day state of mind. You know, the movie in which every day is repeated? You feel like you're living the same day over and over. This can be tiring, discouraging, and draining. We are trained to be productive and to see results for our labor. You work hard at your job and you get compensated for that work, usually with a paycheck, something concrete. Caregiving is often tiring and difficult as you adjust to changes in your own routines, freedoms, finances, and rest, and you may not get anything concrete in return. We thrive on having new adventures, experiences, and surprises. We like it when we get unexpected good news, a bonus check, little or big gifts for no reason, plan for a vacation or a special outing. When those perks seem a far distance away or a fading memory, it's hard to continue our caregiving with joy and a positive attitude. Having a big picture perspective will help us stay focused on our long-term goals. A runner focuses on finishing the race, not counting and bemoaning each individual step he or she must run. We keep our eyes on the prize. A parent gets up nightly to feed a newborn and knows that someday those nightly feedings will cease and that child will learn to feed himself. With caregiving, sometimes our loved ones needs help on an increasing basis instead of a diminishing basis? Are we able to give even more to help them recover, thrive, or just to survive? How do we respond to discouragement or weariness? One way I found is to celebrate the small victories and improvements. Be aware of the little improvements and successes. As an old favorite hymn says, count your blessings, name them one by one. Look for the positives instead of focusing on the negatives. Because my sister-in-law lost over 50 pounds in 1 year, it is a high priority for us to help her regain some of her weight for strength and good health. We've analyzed her food intake, we've gotten expert advice on what to feed her. We've brought her protein shakes and cream soups and cheese for her pasta dishes, and even gotten her favorite dishes like chow fun or dim sum, cheesecake, or hamburgers to supplement her otherwise healthy diet. We rejoice when she gains even half a pound. Through daily perseverance and simple exercises, she's been able to strengthen her muscles and her endurance. Small changes in her diet have also helped with her mood and electrolyte levels. Providing and encouraging various social connections, Bible study through Zoom meetings, and listening to her favorite music have also fed her emotionally and spiritually. When it's a warm day outside, a walk in the park or around the neighborhood is good for everyone. Once in a while, treat yourselves to goodies from a favorite restaurant to change your meal plan. These have all helped us. Let others help too. Sometimes we carry too much of the responsibility to care for our loved one. We're not taking the much-needed breaks because, of course, no one else can care for him or her the way that we can. Or we don't want to burden or impose on other people. Or our loved one is used to us and may not like or trust or accept somebody else or want a change in the routine. It's just as good for us to have a change of scenery or different activity. And it's also good for our loved one to have a different caregiver for short periods. A different person will bring a new outlook, perspective, and also a new friendly face to greet and converse with. We have a home health aide that comes 3 times a week, 4 hours at a time, to help with my sister-in-law. She does Jan's laundry, cleans her bathroom and bedroom, and helps her with bathing. She is a young woman with a wonderful big laugh, and we often hear the two of them laughing and enjoying their interactions. Since Jan cannot get out as much, it really helps to bring someone in from the outside to liven up her days. Her sister will also come visit every other week for a few hours. They have a nice visit, and Bruce and I can go out and run errands together. Caregivers need to go out and get some fresh air or take a walk by themselves too. Give yourself permission to do so. It will reduce your stress and improve your attitude in caregiving. And finally, remember, it's not forever. Sometimes a difficult task will seem like it will go on forever. When I was a student, I thought my algebra and chemistry classes were just like that. Time moves so slowly, and I dreaded those classes. We can develop the same attitude in our caregiving, thinking that it will never end. We must remember that caregiving is for a season. It may be a long season or a short one, but it will end someday. Know when you need to let go, when somebody else needs to take over. It could be because your loved one needs more than you can provide, whether it be medically, physically, emotionally, mentally, or financially. God also has a plan for your life, and He knows what you can handle, and trust that His timing is always perfect. Talk to Him and pray for strength to continue to care for your loved one as long as the Lord calls you to this divine assignment. And finally, pray for me, and I'll pray for you. Talk to God often, and talk to some close friends too. Get the support you need on a regular basis. Keep a good balance between giving care to someone, receiving the support you need, and making some space for you to still be you. Take a little time to do the things you enjoy or find fulfilling. You'll find that you'll be more refreshed and a more devoted caregiver when you do these things. God bless you.